Hey everybody, welcome to 1 Foot of Books, episode 11. Yes, 1 foot of books, 30 centimeters of books. That's the lowdown of this show. My name's Shard. Hello. Every week I go through the bookshelves behind me, the book collection around me, and take a chunk, 1 foot big, long, not square, that'd be a bit more. I just measure out 1 foot of books from the bookshelves behind me. Then we talk about them for the episode. So welcome episode 11. Autumn has hit here in the Blue Mountains of Australia, just outside of Sydney. Starting to get a bit cold. Still beautiful though. Sunny, a bit breezy, getting a bit chilly. Cold at nights. Oh, get the rug up. Lovely. Best time of year in Sydney is autumn, winter, spring. Summer is torture. Yes, torture. Unless you live like in the water. But who does that? Anyway, let's get into 1 foot of books. Episode 11. Let's start at the top here. David Hatcher Childress. Yes, if you're familiar with the likes of Eric von Daniken, Graham Hancock, you should be aware of David Hatcher Childress. He has written on a bunch of different subjects. A whole bunch. And he wrote this book, Ancient Micronesia, The Lost City of Nan Madol. This also includes looks at Palau, Kasare, Yap, Chuk, and Guam, as well as various other places around the Pacific, but mostly centered on Micronesia. I got this book at a bookstall at the Marrickville Markets. It was all of, is that correct? $8? I thought it might have been more than that. But anyway, it was quite a find. I have been quite enamored with the Nan Madol stuff for a while. And this is like one of the, I would wouldn't go so far as to say this is like the one and end all of accounts of Nan Madol. It's Childress after all. He's a speculative anthropologist, whatever you call them, I don't know. But I like his stuff. He is quite accessible. He's quite easy to read. Hancock, I find, is getting a little bit weighed down with his fame. Childress has been around for a long time, probably even longer than Hancock, writing about these kind of things. Not to say that everything he says is true, far from it, but good book, really good book, and yeah, like I said, I like Childress's stuff. It's not as in your face as Graham Hancock has become. Yeah, found it at Marrickville Markets down the Addison Road Centre. Yeah, quite happy I've got this book. I've flipped through it. I've actually read it once, and I've flipped through it a few times. 1998, and that's just some other books that he's done. Childress. Lost Cities of the Pacific series, the Lost Cities series, Atlantis reprint series, the Mystic Traveler. Oh no, he didn't do the Mystic Traveler, but yeah. Ooh, what am I getting more in this series? Actually, the whole Pacific megalithic ruins and stuff like that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Haven't been around for long. But how did they get them done? Damn. The Woody Allen Reader. Yes, Woody Allen. I'm a fan of Woody Allen. I'll say that. I think he had great creative output. And I've read a few of his books, and this is a great reader. It's got bunch of photos from his movies, dialogue, kind of themed into different chapters. Yes, Woody Allen. I just like this edition too. It's really good. Kind of focuses on his classic period, the 60s, 70s, more so the 70s. 1993. Yes. But I haven't watched any of his movies in a long time. Especially his later ones. I'm just like, no, yeah, no. He's not the same man as he was. He's not, you know, artistically as well as in the public eye. You know, bit of a weird one, that Woody Allen dude. Say the least. Johnathan Glover, Humanity. A Moral History of the 20th Century. Again, got this from my friend's dead uncle's collection. Haven't read it. This book is about the history and morality in the 20th century. It is about the psychology which made possible Hiroshima, the Nazi genocide, the Gulag, the Chinese Cultural Revolution, Pol Pot's Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia, and many other atrocities. Looks interesting. When was this published? 1999. Ominous. Anyway, haven't read it. Sounds interesting. It's been on the old bookshelf for a while. But I'll get there eventually. Timothy Leary, Ralph Metzner, and Richard Alpert. The Psychedelic Experience, a manual based on the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I got this at a Salvos in Marrickville. The Salvos in Marrickville. A couple of bucks, if that. Haven't read it. It's from 1995. That's the edition. Yeah, I kind of got this after my interest in Timothy Leary and all that kind of stuff. The thing I never, you know, I'm sure I talked about this before, but having access to the kind of drugs that these guys were on to kind of experiment yourself it's kind of hard. Again, these black flies are still here. So I never really gave a lot of credence to the whole psychedelic experience. Because it was hard getting a hold of psychedelics, for me anyway. If you didn't, well, good for you. I hope it worked out well. If it didn't, I'm sorry. Yeah. Richard Alpert. Who was he? Is that Ramdas? I think so. Yeah, haven't read it yet. Haven't read it. Food of the Gods, Terence McKenna. Found this in the Salvos. I think I paid $3 for it. Still in pretty good nick. It's pretty beaten up. 1992 edition. Sorry, 94 edition. Originally published 1992. Again, I've used it for more research purposes when I'm doing other writing. Yeah, again, I don't know if I should be equating reading these books with, you know, having access to psychedelics, but I guess that could make it a bit easier. I don't know. Am I wrong? Someone you do not need psychedelics for. Jiddu Krishnamurti. Total Freedom. This is a great reader of Krishnamurti. A great way to start. I got this at, I think it was Dimmock's or Angus and Robertson in the city, like probably around 2006 or 7. When was this published? The Essential Krishnamurti. Where is this? Doesn't say. Surely. Don't call me Shirley. 1996. So it was first published, but this is probably, I got this like at least 10 years after that. Have you read any Krishnamurti? If you haven't, man, you're in for a surprise. He was a great thinker. I really like his stuff. I like his writings. I like his recorded speeches, monologues, and stuff like that. He was, I don't. Was he a contrarian? He seemed to go against everything, which is very refreshing from a spiritual point of view. And he was originally raised to be the 21st century leader of theosophy back in the early 1900s. Sorry, early 20th century. Yeah, well, 1900s. Yeah, 1900s. Yeah. He was born in 1895. And he died in 1986. And he wrote tons of stuff. He rejected the whole theosophical society thing. I don't want to be your leader, man. And just went and did his own thing. And read anything by him is very worthwhile. One of my favorite ones by him, I've read a few. Favorite ones of his, if you can find it, is Freedom from the Known. That's a great book. It's pretty short, very heavy. Will make you stop reading and look up into the sky and work those kind of things out in your head. And it's just, very cool. I love Krishnamurti, and that's a good introduction if you find that around, brand new or secondhand. You haven't read any of this stuff. Great intro to Krishnamurti. We've had 100 years of psychotherapy and the world's getting worse. This is by James Hillman and Michael Ventura. I'd never heard of these guys before. I read this book probably a good 12, 15 years ago. And it's just like a bunch of like 2 or 3 big question and answer sessions with between, who are these people? One of them's a psychologist, the other one's a journalist. James Hillman studied with Jung and is the author of A Blue Fire. And Michael Ventura is the author of Shadow Dancing in the USA. So Michael Ventura is the writer, James Hillman is the psychologist, and they just recorded like just talks they had with each other in and around Los Angeles back in the late 80s, and letters and things like that. Very cool book, very readable. It's kind of like this casual conversation between really smart people. Quite liked it. This is from, I think this is from the late 80s, early 1992. Parts of it were first published in 1990. If you see this around, man, and you like psychology, great read. You can probably pick it up really cheap online. And quite liked it. Quite liked it. Like that book. How to make trouble and influence people. This is a just kind of like a zine collection of stuff. So it's like a compilation of Australasian pranks, hoaxes, and political mischief making. Australasia is, of course, Australia and maybe New Zealand. But yeah, it's got a bunch of, it's got a rundown on like what happened when kind of thing. It's got interviews with people. It's got rundowns of some pranks that the people did in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think, most of them. And a lot of this happened in Melbourne. Join the army, learn a trade. Just provocative stuff like that. Unemployed? Steal. Don't starve. I like that kind of stuff. You can get that. You can probably get this either online or at your local. If you're in Australia, your local anarchist bookshop. There's still a few around. But yeah, easy to get this online. Seen it around a bunch in those kind of shops. The Conquistadors, Hammond Innes. I started reading this. Where did I get this first off? The Conquistadors. $10. Where did I get this for $10? I would have been upset about spending $10 on it. Where did I get it? It's on the tip of my tongue. See, they wrote $10 on it in pen too. Thanks. Anyway, this is published a while ago. It's a nice, it's a bit ratty, but a really good, still in good condition. 1969 copy of this. I've read a little bit of it. Quite good. Quite the rollicking read of how the Europeans came to the New World and basically wrecked it into subservience. Yeah, Conquistadors. Oh, strange times back then. Strange times all the time. Is that true to say? I think so. People look back now and look strange times. Look back at Conquistadors' time, you're like, wow, strange times. So much power in the church and the king, and they're just sending people out to just go and just take over other places. Moral and intellectual superiority and stuff like that, all still prevalent now. Good book. I haven't read. I read about a quarter of it. Liked it. I just got to the part where they're starting to kind of play Montezuma against his enemies and himself, kind of thing, before they go on and just basically kill everyone. The Secret to Happy Children. Steve Biddulph. I'm saying that right. Biddulph. This is from the early 90s. First published, 1984. Well, this is a 1993 one. Steve Biddulph is a clinical psychologist, was a clinical psychologist before seeking people skills and traveling to the US, Singapore, and New Zealand to talk about stuff. Basically as a parent, and especially as a single parent and a single male parent, I don't know what makes that special about me apart from being a, moron more often than not. Being a single parent, you try to get as much advice as you can without it making you insane and wanting to run through plate glass windows. And books, I find, are the easiest way to do that. I don't know about YouTube. I haven't looked at YouTube a lot for advice because, like I say, it just makes me insanely angry and want to run out through plate glass windows and into traffic and stuff like that. So that's a big thing with me. I'm in therapy. You got to do therapy, and this is kind of cool. I read bits of it a while ago, and then I stopped because I'm just like, ugh, who wants advice about raising kids? It's hard enough, but it's the support's there in a lot of different ways. Even just reading a book can help you make sense of certain things. If you're a parent, if you're a single parent, whatever parent, it's okay to read books about being a parent. So it's freaking hard. Hardest thing you'll ever do. And then you die. Oh, anyway. God, back to therapy for me. Joseph Cummins. The World's Bloodiest Histories. I got this from the Vinnies in Randwick. When I went up there with my ex-girlfriend one time. With an ex-girlfriend, not my ex-girlfriend. Paid $8 for it. This was probably a good 10 years ago. And like $8 then versus $8 now. Man, I got hosed. Anyway, this is a good book. Good to read after you've had had a J or something, and just go through just some of the worst examples of collective humans doing horrible shit to other collective humans. Chapter 1, Carthage must be destroyed. The first genocide, 146 BCE. The massacre of the Mexica in 1521. The St. Bartholomew Day Massacre, 1572. The Great Stillness Massacre at Sharpeville, South Africa, March 21st, 1960. Dark stuff, man. First published 2010. Massacre, genocide, the scars they left on civilization. Yeah. It's not the kind of book you read cover to cover. I don't think it would be that well for your brain, but to pick up and read a chapter here and there, oh, mwah, beautiful. Rock and Roll Heaven. I got this one year from my parents for Christmas. And it's a fascinating guide to musical icons who've joined the great gig in the sky. So basically it just runs down through a massive list of people, of famous rock and roll people. John Lee Hooker, Dusty Springfield, but then like way more obscure people as well. Brian Connolly, Kurt Cobain. Who's Kurt Cobain? Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone. Stiv Bators from the Dead Boys. Richard Manuel. Marvin Gaye. Oh yeah, yeah. 1 or 2 pages mostly. Again, I've had great experiences smoking a J and reading some of this. Yeah, great book. Great book. I don't think I've seen it around many other places. Probably a music shop, secondhand bookshop would have it. 2007. So I would have got this around 2008, 2009. Great book. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I also do practice a bit of yoga. Well, I've been a bit slack the last year. It's weird how time catches up on you, man. See, I was doing like yoga pretty crazy for like 4 years, and then you stop for whatever reason. Usually a pretty easy reason, and you don't get back into it, and you kind of want to be like that old dude, don't you? Circle of life. This is a great book. Desikachar. Sorry, I should say. TKV. Desikachar. Kind of like that Iyengar yoga book. I think I've showed in this thing before. So just basically breathing techniques, yoga techniques in book form. Got this for $6. I think I got this up in Springwood. And breaks down like it's a pretty one-stop kind of shop book for yoga. So it breaks down the tradition, what you want to be getting out of it, what you're meant to be getting, or not what you're meant to be getting out of it, but this breaks down the history, what it is, and then how to do it. I would be hasten to recommend you get all your yoga from a book. There is YouTube now, which is very handy, and classes, always classes. Go get some classes. You don't have to stay forever, but you can go there. The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron, one of the kind of definitive creativity / self-help books, first published 1993. I've made it into page about 67, week 3. It's a 12-week course on creativity. It's known quite the world over for the kind of implementation of morning pages, which I took from this and have used in my own life practice, I guess. I do it every morning, morning pages, 3 pages. I'm just writing when I first get up. If I never read this whole book or never do the full 12 weeks, it's been a year since I read this, I think, just getting the morning pages practice under my belt makes reading what I have and haven't of this all the worthwhile. Morning pages are great. Artist's Way, if you've ever been through the whole 12 weeks, can you let me know what it's like? I made it up to week 3, and then that was it. I think because I moved, and moving is very disruptive to people, the world, that kind of thing. I picked this up from a box of books that my friend was going to donate, and I was like, hey, I've heard about that. I'll take that, please. And I did, along with a few other books. And the rest I took to a bookshop, and a year later they still haven't called me about them. Weird. Hey, what are you thinking about the book depository closing? What are your thoughts on that? It's owned by Amazon anyway. They're just kind of integrating it all into Amazon. It's a good thing, bad thing. What do you use for book purchases, if not Book Depository and Amazon? I'm a huge fan of Abe Books for secondhand books. What else is out there? What's good for brand new books? You know, apart from Amazon. Amazon's been the behemoth for like 25 years, man. Book Depository, bought and sold underneath them. Like, they're gone. They're going. I love the Book Depository. Got a great wish list there. So now I've got to go and salvage my wish list from there and put it into Amazon, do I? I don't know. They know all enough about me already. Anyway. Yes. That's been One Foot of Books, episode 11. I'll put a list of the books in the description as well, so you're not fast forwarding and going back and forth looking for things if you happen to be looking for things. And yeah, leave a comment, say hi, that kind of thing. Good stuff. Thank you everyone out there in YouTube land. Hope you have a great week. My name's Shard. You've been watching, listening, and experiencing One Foot of Books.